Hello, superhero friends. I tried really hard this time to try to come live a little earlier, but the mask took long. So I'm just going to get set up. Let me just give us some tunes. So today, hi, Voice of One. How's it going? Hope things are well. Uh, we're actually going to visit some Spider-Verse today. Let's see here. And if you're not familiar with who I'm cosplaying as today, I am Black Cat Felicia Hardy. So welcome to the live. Uh, I have the relaxing music of the PlayStation 1 playing. So let me just bring it down a bit. Da-na-na. Okay. Okay. Oh goodness. Oh, things have been crazy, my friends. I came back from Winnipeg on January 1st. I literally flew into Pearson like 10 minutes before New Year's Eve happened. And so, downtown Toronto, of course, is like this big cluster F of everything. And I had to deal with that. But and that's okay. But I was coming from Winnipeg. So I was born and raised in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Hey, Alexander Richards, how's it going? Happy 2025. Also, Voice of One. Oh my goodness. I did a lot of healing with my dad and my sister going home for the holidays. And oh, oh, you're 22. I feel like you're an old soul, perhaps, Alexander Richards. So, fun fact, you guys. So it's 2025. I have several large milestones this year. So, February 3rd is going to be myself and my hubby's 10-year wedding anniversary. We got married 10 years ago on the beaches of Cozumel, Mexico, because I have a really strong vibe with Mexico, especially Cozumel. We've gone to the Chichen Itza pyramids. We've gone to like a couple cenotes there. So I really love Mexico and the people there as well. Um, oh, oh yes, Alex. Healing is a huge thing, you guys. I can't. Can I say hi to Gabe Owners, please? Of course. Hi, Gabe Owners. Hopefully, I pronounced that name correctly. From Black Cat Felicia Hardy. My favorite. You know what? Slight tangent. So I'm getting my hubby to play Spider-Man, Peter Parker. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Tracy Scopes. She does a lot of these like X-rated comic book stories, and so I'm gonna work with her on a couple of things, but that's not safe for TikTok. However, Black Cat is a fan favorite. She's gorgeous, isn't she? I wish she was done more in live action, so I made my own Black Cat costume because I love her so much. And what we're gonna read today, I hope TikTok doesn't like get mad at that. We'll see. Okay, so we're gonna read Edge of the Spider-Verse. And so some of my favorite thing about not my favorite thing about Spider-Man, but one of my favorite things about Spider-Man is that his girls are awesome. Like Mary Jane, she's like the ultimate girlfriend. I love Felicia Hardy, Black Cat. Um, who else is like, oh, Gwen Stacy, of course, and Spider Gwen. So all the chicas in the Spider-Man universe are pretty awesome. We are going to read, you can kind of see Black Cat here on the back. So today I have already read with you guys as Felicia Hardy. The I'll show you guys the panels because they're actually nicely drawn. Hey, Don Quixote. Oh, Quixote. Don Quixote. There you go. Got it. And thanks for the follows, guys. Okay, actually, let me I have to check out the Batman Elmer Fudd crossover. Oh my goodness. You always find out the most random things, PCJP. That's why I love you. It's dark. Oh, dark. Oh, oh, have you guys heard of I had dinner with my friend Aria, who you're gonna see a little bit more of, you guys. Oh, fun fact, you guys. My big goal in 2025 is I'm working on getting an AM radio station. Renegade radio, like so on for like those long road trips, and because like, when the grid goes down, which it will happen, you guys. I've seen visions of this, and I'm going to get into my visions of like the future, which have been. So actually, let me go into my own healing, and then I'm going to get into the read. We're going to read some Spider-Man Noir, you guys. So did you guys know Nicolas Cage is going to play Spider-Man Noir in a movie coming up? Have you guys heard this? Or is this just like me making it up? I think my hubby found me that. Hold on, I'm going to put my microphone down, and I'm just going to adjust so I can hold the comic book. I'm in a new little location today because I'm trying to do a little reset up so that like my workflow is a little bit more streamlined and less like hectic. Like if you're a creator, you're like, oh my gosh, there's 5 million things I need to do. I need to focus on one thing at a time to do it. I can't see Nicholas as black. Well, I'll find you guys because he's the dark. Okay, I like Nicolas Cage, you guys. I have never heard, but Spider-Man Noir sounds cool. Oh, that'd be kind of interesting. Ghost Rider can't. I thought that Nicolas Cage is a good Ghost Rider, only in the first one. Then he starts becoming too Nicolas Cage and less Ghost Rider, in my opinion. Okay, let me put it this way. You can see my little nook in the background. Okay, so that's nice. If Sir Francis doesn't make you'll get. You know what? You're like me. Like when I was growing up, and I talked to my friend. Actually, I'll go back to what I was saying to my friend Aria about the healing I went through when I went. Actually, let me turn this down. I have the relaxing music of the PlayStation 1, 1994 to 2000. Okay. Personal story time, and then we're going to get into Spider-Man Noir in the comic book read tonight. And I'm going to hopefully do this story in such a way that it segues into why I'm doing the reading that I'm doing tonight for you guys, right? Okay. Horror guy, yes. Black Cat Felicia Hardy. Let me get on my gloves. So I made this cosplay myself. The mask took a little bit of a hot minute. I always I'm so cocky when I start my makeup, like, oh, this is gonna be easy. And I always look up my other cosplay girls, for tutorials and stuff. And I'm like, oh girl, this is easy. And I do it. I'm like, why is this taking me so long? But it's because it's the first time. And anytime you do a first, even when you draw, right? When you're drawing and sketching, dance, you need to warm up. You need to warm up first. When I used to do handstand workshops, you need to warm up your wrists and all that kind of stuff. So it's just one of those things. I like doing origami. You guys if you guys have heard of the story, the myth that if you fold 1,000 paper cranes, you get a wish. And I read this book when I was in, I forget what grade I was in, about in Japan. We did such awful things to Japan, Hiroshima, what the heck. So as a result of that, you had a lot of little girls or little children or people in general who had cancer who probably should have never had cancer. And because of this, she was in the hospital, and so she folded, paper cranes to wish that away. And I think there's a bit of truth to there. If maybe we have the power of the power of positive thinking, but not in this hokey, lame way. Please have a call-in segment so I can call in and say first-time caller, long-time listener. Oh my gosh, PCJ, that is happening. I'm working on it. So I am. Let me go into my story. Yes. PlayStation 1 because I still play it here. Oh, you have the original console, Sir Francis? That's dope. Dope. Do you have other consoles as well? I'm playing on Xbox Series X right now. Our Xbox was actually a gift from my sister because she worked for Microsoft for 3 months. That's how long she could do it. She's like, I can't work for the devil, Rachel. So she currently works for EA on the FIFA game. I love my sister. she's brilliant and smart and an Aries and like always thinks that she's right, and she is usually right. And but I do know how to get her to admit that she's wrong, but only with me. And she's only ever wrong like never most of the time. Where was I going with this? Video games. Video games mean a lot to me, and actually, that's a great segue into the story I wanted to tell you guys of like my personal healing over the holidays, and hopefully how it can help you as we go into 2025. Because I don't think 2024 was like no joke, you guys. It was really hard. I dealt with a lot of like fur baby stuff. Like we went to the vet with Wolfie today, my doggy, my familiar, and that was it was good because we have a really good vet right now, but we had a whole experience last year. My father-in-law has an elder dog, and I'm really fond of this dog just because when I first moved to Toronto, I kind of fractured my personality. So I tell my hubby this. I'm like a prairie princess, and I came out to the big city to like reinvent myself and pretend what it would be like to be like poor in the big city and have to like make it on my own, right? Because my dad was a professor at the University of Manitoba in computer science, and we never. I wouldn't say we were like well off, but it wasn't like I wanted for anything. And Winnipeg's very like low cost of living, so it's not like but like my dad was very frugal, no debt, nothing like that. Everything paid for in cash, that kind of situation. My dad's like those like old professor. I'm like, are you a dragon, dad? Like you're just kind of like solitary. You like doing your research on like graphics and like math and stuff. So he did his master's in mathematics at the University of Illinois, and then did comp sci at the U of M. He met my mother in the Philippines because he was like pen pals with my auntie, and then like he went on a trip to the Philippines, met my mom, and then they got married there in like I don't know a couple of weeks because my mom was kind of like a babe back in the day. But the thing I had to heal, and I'm not going to get into like too much detail about it just because I'm not big about airing all like dirty laundry and gossip and all that stuff. So I'll give you the relevant context. But I realized I had a mother wound, right? So I wasn't getting from my mom what I was hoping to get in terms of like a bonding experience. So there was something that was happening where my mom was really jealous of the fact that like my dad really loved me so much, right? And me and my dad have a really special bond because like like he used to listen to like vinyls in the basement. So like I used to listen to like Elvis on vinyls, and this is why like music is really important to me. It's like a way of sharing your feelings. Like when you can't find the words, I'll find you a song that like kind of expresses how I mean, and I'll play it for you. And like me and my husband do that with each other all the time. Like it's hard to talk about stuff. So I was a really shy, awkward, weird little kid growing up. I bless the fact that I went to a really small Catholic high school where I got to be friends with everybody. So everybody was friends with everybody else. When you had birthday parties, everybody was always invited. You didn't have this like, oh, you're not included or I wasn't invited. So thank goodness for that. It also gave me a way of having a safe haven out of like what felt like a prison of my home, because my dad is lovely and everything, but he's not like mushy. Is a guy. He's not gonna like hug you and stuff. He loved me, and I understood his love language. But my mom was like never. She was just really mean to me. And like and so I realize now, like being older, looking back on things, I can forgive all this stuff, but I can also you can choose not to have relationships in your life that hurt you, right? Even though like they're you're supposed to have them or whatever, right? Because you have bigger missions at play, right? And if people aren't going to help you in that, because what you're doing, like trust me, your dreams, they're usually aligned with the universe's wants and goals too, right? So you following those dreams is also serving the universe. And so to be aware, I was so in denial of the fact that someone I loved so much just didn't love me back in like or she did, but like her way of showing love gave me a really messed up way of what it was, right? And it's only through finding my husband and him, loving me. And I told him this the other day. I'm like, babe, like, because you say you love me and I believe you, I finally love myself. And when I finally did that, it's like everything quantumly shifted and I understood all of it, right? It all just like makes sense. Like you have these aha moments and like, oh yeah, it all makes sense. But Morpheus said this in the Matrix, right? Like it's one thing to know the path, it's another thing to walk it. And so that's the thing, like walking the path. And that's why I love comic books so much, because through these fantastical stories, when I was going through a really hard time, like a torturous psychological hard time, I turned to comic books. I turned to like my Power Ranger shows, Sailor Moon, my animes, my all of my comic books. I turned to all of these heroes. And remember, all of these wonderful heroes, they get their magic from you. You give them power in your psyche, right? You bring them to life. So I made friends with the aspects of myself that are in these characters. And it's so crazy that through cosplay, I've like found myself again. And when I went back to Winnipeg, it's like I reintegrated the girl who just like picked up and like left after university and was just like, F the old me, I'm just gonna reinvent myself in the big city. But you are still that person, even though you've grown and changed and evolved. And there's something to be said about integrating the lessons of your past selves into like who you are like now. So all right. But here's the story, Sir Francis. This costume is so. Oh, thank you. And Astery. Oh, aw, thanks you guys. Read an origami book. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, horror guy. You know the story of a herd of a thousand cranes, and you get a wish from it, right? So maybe we can do that live, right? We can fold a thousand cranes together. I can show you how to fold a crane. It's super easy. I've been folding dragons lately, origami dragons, because you can just take the crane template and kind of like push it a little further, make a dragon. But maybe all together we can fold a thousand cranes and we can make some wishes if we want. Oh my gosh, my hair is getting in my mouth. Sorry, babes. Okay. What you're saying about that mentality is Silver Surfer with the X-Men show, melodic and smart. Ooh, I love Silver Surfer as a character, you guys. Like, also wonderful character. What is my sun? I'm a Taurus. I'm a Taurus. But the nature of my birth is crazy, right? Let me just check this. Okay. I don't know why I hate the filter on TikTok right now. It keeps on catching and not catching. And I'm like, either stay or don't stay. I may have to stop and jump up again. Let's see here. What Hallmark movie script is this? Oh, Don Quixote. That's me divinating and coming through whatever is coming through the ether. I have Xbox. I don't play much Fortnite, but when I do, I play as Cable. Love that voice of one. You have Xbox though, so my gamer tag is Sailor Cosmos 351. If you guys, we should get. I'm trying to set up a Discord server because me and my sister our sisterly love language with each other is gaming. There's nothing. She's so funny when we game. Like my friend Arthie, she's like, you know what's funny about you and your sister when you game? Like your interaction. I'm like, yeah, because like our mother wasn't emotionally available, so me and my sister created a whole world with each other. Like we were very like us together is crazy, but like me coming back to myself in Winnipeg has also made me realize like this society is very sick. Like we all like when you have a creative process, right? Let's say like I'm working on my comic book and my RPG and like or whatever projects you have going on right now. You want to make a film or you're painting something. There's a process where like no one sees anything, and I was I was reminded of I had this psychedelic trip, and we have like all of these tapestries. You can see behind me here. I have all of these tapestries all over my place. I love to surround myself with beautiful things. So when we take magic mushies, I remember I have this picture of a unicorn. It's a gift from my sister. A unicorn guarding this mandala, and the title of the painting is called Protector of Realms. Okay, so I did a trip once and basically saw like all of like when you draw something, you can see all. And let's say you're trying to draw something and you make a mistake. So you like erase the mistake and you go over it again, right? Um, Underneath all of like the final product are all the mistakes that have happened prior to it, even though you've erased and gone over it again. So the mistakes are all valid. Like you needed to make those mistakes so that you can do it properly, right? And then try again and try again and try again. And I think that yeah, that's basically like the lesson of that. And I'm not going to get into too much detail right now about the whole healing process, but other than to say that learning to love yourself truly and realize that like love is not like even taking Wolfie to the vet today. Me and my hubby were talking about like we were telling Wolfie, we're like, like loving you is so hard because like when you hurt, I hurt, and I just like and so I get it, like to love is a courageous act, right? To that's why like when you have children and you want to nurture them and you want to protect them from the world and you don't want them to go through like maybe all the crap that you had to go through or like a heartbreak. I remember my first heartbreak too, like it was yesterday. But all of that, like some of us feel things, and I'm a Taurus, right? So I feel things through like my whole body, through like every single cell, and that's why music has been so healing for me. I've learned to also ask for help where I need help. And in the sense of like, if I'm having a bad day or I'm in like this like negative thought loop space, I just need the right song to like snap me out of it and be like, okay, like what am I actually doing here? Like let me get out of this like funk that I'm in. It can be hard to do that, right? When you're dealing with crises, right? Where you're dealing with like, I have to take my dog to the vet. I have to take my family member to the hospital. I have to go pick up this. I have to do that. But and I can't work on my soul mission because I'm busy, like, dealing with stuff. Trust me, it's tough, but there is time. Like, in spite of all of everything, lean into the help that's there that we don't realize is there. If we only have to ask, right? And be precise about what it is that you need. Because trust me, you will get a response back. Like I went back home in Winnipeg and I was like, how am I going to do this? And it came back and was like, you know what? Why don't you just try to get on the radio, Rachel? I was like, yeah. And so I did all this research. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have an AM radio station. So can you think about that? Like reading comic books aloud on AM radio, or rather just storytelling, right? Like um, you know, long road trips listening to stories, like nothing better than that. And some good tunes as well. Okay, guys, let's get into it. It's hard to show love when holding a chinilla. Sailor Moon. Watch it. The pink ribbon is my fave. Oh, hi, Mr. Top Ramen. Oh, and so nice that you guys are here. I'll be broker than the Californian mayor with 1,000 crane. You know what? Then how about you wish for infinite resources? We need to be precise with our wishes. Have you guys ever seen the movie The Wishmaster? The horror thing with that guy, and like it's just got to be careful what you wish for. Like that story with that chick where she's like, I want to be beautiful forever, so he turns her into like a mannequin, like that kind of stuff. Norin Rad, thanks for the rose, PCJP. I'm Severed Cube 6960. I'm gonna screenshot this just so I can. Oh my gosh, can I? Oh my gosh, I'm like, I can't. Oh, this, got it, perfect. I will find you, Voice of One. Let's play games, guys. And if you guys game, let me know. I want to have some fun. I'm trying to my big mission in 2025 is to have more gamer girls, like real gamer girls. I was telling my friend Pastel, she's like, I game, I play The Sims. I'm like, The Sims is not the same. You need to be able to know how to do first person shooter games and know how to navigate in time space. Because if you can do that on a psychic level, that's like the first step on doing anything in like 3D realm. Like even in working out, you have to conceptualize of anything before you do anything. So it's all like mental training, right? Let's see here. Ooh, servant. I like your little V for Vendetta mask. Oh, more roses. Hey, hey, thank you. Voice of One, love is the bridge between the heart and mind. Oh, 100%. Yes. And we shouldn't forget about, like, it's the three minds, right? Your brain, your heart, and your gut. And like I have learned to like trust my intuition a little bit more, and like the three I's as well, right? Imagination, intuition, and intelligence. And I was reading a book, I think I have it here. Is it Rudolf Steiner? Been reorganizing all my stuff. Theoscopy? Oh yes, no. So this one, Knowledge of Higher World and Its Attainment by Rudolf Steiner. And I don't think it's this one. He also has a book on Atlantis that I was looking into for my book, but I'm not going to read this right now. It's a really heavy read. But it's all to say that regardless of what you choose to let into your, personal reality bubble, be aware of how important you are to the greater all of things, right? You are special. You do matter. It's not a weakness to love. It's in fact very courageous too, right? So let's see here. I can't do Taurus. They're too much. You know what though? So not all Tauruses are the same, right? Like my sister was telling me the other day, because she's single yet again, and she's like, Rachel, this last guy was a Gemini. No more Geminis, Rachel. No more Geminis. I'm like, okay, you can't pick Geminis all the same. I have a lot of friends who are Geminis, and my moon is in Gemini too, so I understand. Gemini can be a little crazy just because, like, I guess, like, my different cosplays are my Gemini playing out a healthy way, right? Because you have all these different personalities and aspects of self, and that's why people are like, oh, well, you're two-faced. Like, no, well, because I have work me, I have family me, I have, like, big sister me, I have this me, but they should all talk to each other, right? And not have this weird, like, well, that's not me at all. I don't know who did that crazy thing over there. But taking responsibility for everything that you've ever, like, that you do, like, not to like behave in this like weird, oh, that wasn't me at all, that was like my other self, I don't even know who that person is. But yeah, I'm a Taurus, but I was born 3 weeks late by like emergency C-section and all that kind of craziness. So I was supposed to be an Aries, but I was born the April 24th. Fun fact, my numerology number is actually 33. So it's 6, but it's 33. So I recommend you guys look into that, as well as like any of your gene keys kind of stuff, because know thyself. And then once you know thyself, to thine own self be true. Okay, without further ado, let's get into some comic book reading. So I'm not here to like 4 in the morning, because like I just get into it and then, oh, Spando Ballet, True Death of Every Child. Oh, you guys are cute. Oh, Trevor, thanks again for the gifts. You're very generous. You're very sweet. Thanks, Sir Francis. Appreciate it. I've been just trying to work and like organize all my stuff and my way of doing things, because I have a lot of Aries placements, and so Aries is very like, oh, I'll just fire and think about things later. I'll just do it and say it, and like I'll just do it myself. Even though perhaps you just need the right timing before you fire your rockets, right? I am Black Cat, Felicia Hardy. I should next time I do my little cosplays have like a little picture of who I'm cosplaying as, like hosted by Felicia Hardy. And we'll get into the read today. We're gonna do some Spider-Man Noir in just 2 shakes. Let's see here, Anonymous. Oh yes, Anonymous. You're hip to the trip. I love that, Trevor Crow. Piercings, yeah, I have quite a few. I used to have a Monroe. I used to have my belly button pierced, and then like I had like a really crazy piercing in my ear that was like through the cartilage. It was like craziness. This isn't a piercing. This is just me trying to add sparkle to my look. And thank you on the Fritz for the heart me. Let's see here. Chi Chi Lady, thanks for the follow. I'm low-key Legion. Like, shh. I've had to deal with my own demons, right? I will say this too, growing up, my some of my favorite, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer was like one of my favorite shows too as well. Buffy's awesome. And you know that scene in the show where like, Angel goes all evil and stuff because like they have sex, and then like he has like the happiest moment of his life, and then becomes like what do you call it? He becomes evil again, and he's like fighting her, and Buffy's like fighting him, and he's got the sword, and he's saying to her like, "Oh, no friends, no family, no hope. Who is there left, Buffy?" And she like grabs the sword, and she's like, "Me." And that's freaking good enough. So I got that Rachel back in me, and like, even though, you know I played the big city game, did the corporate world, did all that kind of stuff, and I kept my heart, my soul, and my integrity intact. So I'm ready to kind of like the next stage of what I'm meant to do here. So here we go. Lots of love from Kenya. Notification. I am half South African. I visited South Africa in 2016. It was after I got married, and it was cool. It was cool. I got to all these ladies wanted to take pictures with me in front of Nelson Mandela's house in Soweto. I do know my star chart. I do know my star chart. So I recommend people look at where all of their planets sit. Like, for example, my Mercury and Aries. I feel comfortable telling you guys this secret because, like, to know thyself is also like know thy enemy, right? As well. So just be aware of like who you let in on like your own secret star intel. It's very important. Just say protect yourself. Where's I going with this? I forget. But anyways, let's get into the reading. Okay. You don't see anything. I've been on a this outfit I modded from a fitness routine outfit that I did when I competed in fitness back in the day before I retired. But let's get into it. Okay, so we're gonna go. It's gonna be a super long reading, you guys. We're gonna do some Spider-Man Noir. I don't know if you're familiar with Spider-Man Noir. Um, Hollywood, yeah, just implied sexiness. Sometimes some of the things they use that, like, I even see on YouTube sometimes, I'm just like, how is that allowed? But then you get mad at me for other things, right? Like, what the hell? Okay, so if you aren't familiar with the Spider-Verse, we have this concept of like different Spider-Man, including this T-Rex Spider-Man. By the way, I love dinosaurs. Side note, right? So Black Cat is in this as well. So I'm going to show you who I'm cosplaying as, because typically on this show, right, I am cosplaying as a character within the comic book as a way to show you guys that we are in a grand comic book. Somewhere out there is reading about this right now. So we have Miss Black Cat. This is what I read last time as Black Cat. It's a version of because I'm not as familiar. I wonder if you guys are in how Marvel maps its multiverse. But I know the home multiverse is like Earth 616. So this is Earth. She's the Night Spider in this because it's Felicia Hardy in this case who gets bitten by the spider, and so she's like the Spider-Man of this universe. So that's kind of like the Spider-Verse. It is super confusing. I know. There's got to be a way to map it. I'm going to try to have like a chart and like see what we can do. There's a few people like nerds unite, right? There's always someone who's figured out something. So it's a matter of just all of us coming together and putting it together. Oh, thanks, James. Oh, yes. Okay. So that's not what I'm reading you guys today. I just wanted to give you guys some background as to why I'm cosplaying, like who I am. Everyone and Spider pointing at each other. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So we are going to do Noir. We're going to jump right into it. And I love it because the Noir has such a different, you know what, maybe I'll read the Spider-Man, the dinosaur one first, because it's pretty short. Yeah, let's do this with the dinosaur one first, and then we'll get into the Noir, because it's pretty short. Aw, thanks, Voice of One. Love you guys. And so this is also an ode to my teachers growing up who did such great jobs, like, reading out loud in class and like just using voices, intonation. It is an art. So, and my dad too, like from the time I was like 2 before bed, he would read me a book before bed, and that book would go into my bookshelf. And by the time I was like old enough to read for myself, my bookshelf was full of books of stories. So stories are like currency, right? So knowing more stories are ways of us like reconceptualizing the truth of how we are dealing with our reality, right? So, all right, here we go. So Earth 66, 66. Long, long, long ago. I'm going to kill you. Oh, Peter Parker, but it's spelled this way. I'm going to kill you, Peter Parker. Gah! Asteroid. A little longer ago. Get the weakling. Yeah, get him, boss. Leave me alone. What is that? Norana Saramar? What? I don't know what that is. It's like the Spider-Man of dinosaurs. So let's give them dinosaur names. Ah, what the heck? Toom. And then less long ago, Peter, did you want some of my famous berry Oh my. Uncle Ben? Aunt May? What the? Did I wake up as? Yep. You make it look good, boss. Yeah, yeah. And then back to the long time ago, going to kill. You infected me with your weakling blood, Parker. I didn't do anything to you, Tyrannosaurus. Ah, you're the one who bit me. Oh, yes. Then, that spy rock with all the glowy spiders in it hit us. Don't know what happened after that. But fine. You want to blame the weakling for what happened? Slam. Then you're about to find out what weaklings are really capable of. And then, so basically, we have, look at this. Look how cute he looks. I loved her. You know what? Growing up, I loved dinosaurs, you guys. So, like, I was super nerdy. We went to, like, the Badlands. I got to go see fossils when I was a kid. So, like, you have basically, like, Peter Parker, T-Rex, Spider-Man. Oh, thank you, Jedi. Thanks for that. Appreciate that. Heart me from you, Jedi. This is the edge of the Spider-Verse. So I'm not reading you the whole thing tonight. I'm actually just reading you Spider-Man Noir. I also wanted to flag to you guys the fact that Nicolas Cage is going to be playing Spider-Man Noir, I think, in the newest Spider-Man movie. And before we end this chat tonight, guys, I'm going to give you guys like a little story about one of the Spider-Man Noir comic books I'm trying to source, which is not this one, but we'll get a little taste of what the story's like. T-Rex's Spidey webs. Thank you, Marvel, for this. I know, PCJP, every little kid's dream. Like, why would a T-Rex need spider webs? I guess, and it's like with his tiny little, you know what though? That would be a way of evening out a T-Rex's power, right? The fact that you could just, oh, Trevor, you're very sweet. He's too old to play Spider-Man. Oh my gosh, I need to uncensor that comment. Is it because he's a dinosaur? He's too old to play Spider-Man. And I wanted to read out, PCJP, what you were saying about, I got my fave spot on the carpet in the reading circle. Yes, I want you guys to imagine you're like 8 years old, you're in your favorite teacher's class, and we're reading comic books together. And you have a hot teacher, and she decided to cosplay that day, and they weren't going to call your parents and tell you that, like, no, these contacts actually don't hurt. It's funny because when I actually have bad vision as a result of reading books in really low light way past my bedtime. So when I got glasses, it was like awful for me. I was like, oh my gosh, my social life. No one cared. But like later on when I got contact lenses, I learned that, like, through every hardship there's always like a silver lining, right? So I've learned to love the fact that, like, I can use the fact that I'm blind and the contact lenses I have to use anyways to like help me see, to like have fun with it, right? Yeah, who's anti-dinosaurs? Sir Francis. I need some mods. You know, if you guys are interested in being a mod too, please let me know. I need some mods. And even better if you're a cosplayer too, because you know, I can have you on as like my little like guest. Like if you were Spider-Man, I'd bring you on here to help. um my eyes are closed. I could feel my oh you that's very sweet, you guys. I will say this though, I do have a strong connection to the other side. Um I I won't get into that right now. But I will say that I do have messages for people. I also got a message to create a sacred grove in the backyard of my dad's house, like to have a tree for every like being that has ever like touched my heart and I've like lost. Not lost. I shouldn't. I'm gonna reframe that a little bit more, but more to come. Oh, hey Jason, how's it going? I'm reading Spider-Verse, so we're just gonna finish off our T-Rex Spider-Man adventure, and then we'll get into Spider-Man Noir. Okay. Okay. So you can see, I love this little flip. How cute does he look? I'm gonna drawing him. Spider-Man dinosaur. Okay. Heck yeah! Oh my gosh, still Peter Parker. I'll give you this much. At least your little flunkies certainly stick around. Oh, question for you guys. If you were a dinosaur, what dinosaur would you be in this world? I would be a raptor because I like being like in like a little pack, you know, like little velociraptors. So, I actually also like those dinosaurs that I could have the really long necks, the brontosauruses. I don't know why, but I think I like just like the concept of like all you do all day is kind of like eat. I read the Clone Saga as a kid. Very cool, Adam. I like all of